So for us to create softwares, to execute instructions, we need to be able to communicate with the computers, አይደለ? And that's where programming languages come in. So what are programming languages? Programming languages are like any other language. So like any other language, they have syntax and semantics. So what does it mean? Syntax means rules the language has to follow. For example, in English, we know that for a sentence to be grammatically correct ለመሆን it has to follow the SVO rule አይደለ? It has to follow that the first thing that comes in the sentence has to be a subject, and then the verb comes, and then the object comes. So that's the syntax of English. And in every programming language has its own syntax, like how to declare variables, and how to declare functions and stuff like that. And that is called a syntax. Semantics are semantics is giving meaning to our statements. For example, in English, the subject verb object የመጣ every sentence semantically correct ነው ማለት አንችልም. It could make no sense. So that's where semantics comes in. So we're saying every statement that follows the rule has to also make sense. So why do we need programming languages? Our machines only understand machine code አይደለ? They understand electronic devices ስለሆኑ they understand currents, like current present ነው ወይ አይደለም ወይ, is it on or is it off, zero ነው አንድ ነው ነው, like zeros and ones ነው understand የሚያደርጉት. And for programming languages help us as a bridge so that we can command our machines to do what we instruct them to do. How many programming languages are there? Well, there's a lot of them. I don't know who counted, but there's about let's not get into the numbers right now, but we can group them into 3 levels. There is the machine language, and then there's the assembly language, and then there's the high level language. So let's see them in detail. So this machine language is a primitive language. It's computer native language ይባላል, meaning the machine language ቀጥታ ኮምፒውተራችን understand የሚያደርገው አይነት language ነው. It is represented as zeros and ones or as a binary code represent የሚደረገው. As we said before, ኮምፒውተራችን understand የሚያደርገው it's zeros and ones, right? So machine language instructionዎችን ሲሰጥ በzeros and one ነው የሚሰጠው. And then comes assembly language. So the defect of machine language, although it's በጣም fast because ምንም translation factor አያስፈልግም አይደለ? It's exactly the computer needs to hear this, so exactly እሱ ነው የሚነገረው, the zeros and ones. But the problem there is that as humans we cannot understand zeros and ones እኛ. So comes assembly language. Assembly language, it's like a human friendly machine language ማለት እንችላለን, although it's not. But assembly language uses descriptive short words to represent your machine language chunks. For example, in machine language, adding, if it's like 100 ምናምን ነገር ከሆነ, in assembly language it's one chunk of zeros and ones as a 3-letter add የሚባል instruction ይጨምራል ማለት ነው, so that developers or programmers can understand it easily. So as we said before, machinaችን, if it only understands zeros and ones, then what's the deal with the letters ማለት እንችላለን አይደለ? So that's where the assembler comes in. Assembler is like a translator ነገር አድርገን ማሰብ እንችላለን. Since we don't understand the machine language and the machine doesn't understand our language, መሀል ላይ assembler የሚባል tool ይኖረናል. Okay, so the assembler is it takes our assembly code and then translates it to computer code, machine code, and then the machine can execute the instructions. Since assembly code is very since it has direct links to machine language, hardware specific now, so that's why it's called low level language. And then the very last but certainly not least, we have the high level language. High level language is it's fairly modern compared to the two, and it's a platform independent language. Um, it, so you can code using machine language in any machine. Like you can use your PC, or you can use your MacBook, and at the end of the day the same code works in any machine ማለት ነው. So it's platform independent, and then it also resembles English. Assembly language like ካየ ነው, for example እዚህ ጋር ያለው example, it says add 1 5 result ይላል አይደለ? For a technical person this might not be that far off ነገር, ግን for your for your other users this is really odd. But in high level language we write our code like we would speak ነገር, so it has high resemblance with English, so that's why it's very high level. And the codes we write in high level language are also called source code, and the specific instructions are called statements. So here is an example of a machine code. This is called a statement, and as we can see, area is equals to 5 times 5 is really straightforward, and it's English like. So as we said قدم in assembly language, we said assembler handles the translation አይደለ? In high level language ደግሞ we have interpreters and compilers አሉን. Basically እነሱ they translate our high level language into a low level assembly code translate ያደርጉልናል. The difference between interpreted and compiled languages are interpreted languages one line at a time ነው interpret እያደረገ የሚሄደው, and compiled is the whole file ነው በአንዴ compile interpret አድርጎ execution የሚሄደው ማለት ነው. Okay, cool. So now let's get to the exciting part, pseudocode. So as pseudocode, so we know that pseudo is false, right? So false code እንደማለት ነው. Basically pseudocode ማለት ኮዳችን ከመጻፋችን በፊት it's sort of a planning phase ነገር ነው. So pseudocode is a high level description of a computer algorithm. So የሆነ ነገር መስራት ስንፈልግ we need to do a step by step planning of the algorithm. It omits details that are essential to the machine ማለት it's just planning, it's purely planning. We don't need to worry about the syntax or the semantics or any other thing. We just need to understand how our program is going to work, the flow of it all, know articulate ማድረግ አለብን at this point. And it's very easy to understand. pseudocode የምንጠቀምበት main reasonaችን it's so that everyone can understand it. አሁን በቲም ሲሰራ የሆነ ፕሮጀክት pseudocode ላይ ነው everyone gets to chip in እና ዲዛይናቸውን ያወጡና ከዛ independently በፈለጉት language መስራት ይችላሉ ማለት ነው. So let's see an example. So as we said, pseudocode ማለት it's a step by step planning ብለናል አይደለ? So we wanted in this example we're gonna plan how we want to print the maximum of two numbers. So let's start. So if we want to print ሁለት ነምበሮች ተሰጥተውን if we want to print ከሁለቱም ትልቁ what we need to do is መጀመሪያ ሁለቱም ነምበር እንቀበላለን አይደለ? ከዛ ከተቀበልን በኋላ we're gonna have to compare them የትኛው ይተልቃል ብለን። ስለዚህ compare አድርገን የተለቀውን print ማድረግ ነው. basically straightforward አይደለ? በጣም ቀላል ነገር. so for ኮዳችን እንዴት መስራት እንዳለበት control flow-ን ስናወጣው to print the maximum of two numbers መጀመሪያ we get the first number, ከዛ we get the second number. these two things might seem በጣም mundane እና like መጽሐፍ ለምድ ያስፈልገን ምናምን ልንል እንችላለን, but the reason we write them in our pseudocode is that to fine grain እያደረግን እንድንሄድ ነው. this is a very small program that when it becomes bigger and bigger pseudocodeአችን የሆነ ኮምፖነንቶችን ለማውጣት ሞጁሎችን ለማውጣት and then የሆነ fine grain እያደረግን እንድንሄድ ይረዳናል. ለዛ okay, let's continue እዚህ ጋር and then we get the second number. ከዛ we start the comparing rate. If first number is greater than the second number, then what? the first number is obviously the maximum of the two, so we print the second number. Otherwise, we print the second number. So basically, it's how our code is gonna implement ስናደርገው ኮዳችን ይህንን step by step ይሰራል. We get the numbers, ከዛ we compare and then we print.